नहमदुहु व नुसल्ली व नुसल्लिमु अला सय्यिदिना व मौलाना मुहम्मदिन रसूलिन नबिय्यिल अमीनिल मकीनिल हलीमिल करीमिर रऊफिर रहीम। अम्मा बाद, बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह ताला मेरे लिए ये खुशी का मौका है कि शायद पहली मर्तबा मैं इस टाउन में और इस मस्जिद में नमाज जुमा के लिए हाजिर हुआ। और it has become a beautiful opportunity to meet you and to spend some time with you. And to talk upon certain important things highly relevant to our lives, so that everyone of us may reflect upon those things. इस वक्त एक चीज़ जो मेरे ज़हन में आई है, गुफ्तगू, खिताब, मौजू, तो इंशाअल्लाह ताला that will be on Sunday, the main conference का दिन है। मगर in this particular session or sitting, I would like to explain and elaborate just one point so that you may understand it and you may reflect upon it and you may be able to try to apply in your lives. वो एक नुक्ता है और वो ये कि आज in our today life हमारे घर, this is very important point, हमारे घर बच्चों की रिहाइशगाह बन गए हैं, तरबियत गाह नहीं रहे। Our houses have been converted into boarding house. They have become hostels for our children and not the places of their spiritual training or spiritual transformation. मैं फिर दोहरा रहा हूँ, पहले ज़मानों में when we were young and most of you they can remember when they were young, they used to find their houses as tarbiyat gah. घरों में तरबियत होती थी। Your houses, your families, your parents used to provide you tarbiyah. And that tarbiyah in our childhood and young age would become a safeguard of our faith and iman. big change has occurred over the years. And now our children just live in these hostels. And most of mothers, not everyone, most of the mothers, they work as wardens. They look after their bodily needs. And fathers, most of the fathers, maybe more than 95%, the fathers provide their physical needs. They are responsible for their provisions, for their necessities of their physical life, paying their fee, looking after their health, providing them clothes and toys, providing them good food, providing them facilities of this worldly life. So fathers are responsible for providing these necessities. And mothers are responsible to look after them as wives. And the houses have no atmosphere of tarbiyah. They are just rehaishgah. And I repeat, not tarbiyyat-gah. So the main role and character of a house, which used to be in Muslim society, if not Islamic, to be an Islamic society is much higher thing. At least being a Muslim society, the houses and families have totally lost their role and their character in upbringing of their children. Now the question arises, where the children are getting tarbiyah from? दूसरा सवाल पैदा होगा, और घरों से तरबियत नहीं मिल रही. Do you agree? The next question is, तरबियत को कहाँ से ले रहे हैं? Where they are getting tarbiyah? Intellectual nourishment, intellectual upbringing, intellectual development, conceptual development. Where they are getting concept of their life from, where they are getting the significance and relevance of the values from, where they are getting morals from where they are getting values, from where they are getting ethical standards, from where they are getting teachings. तरबिया का सोर्स क्या है? If not house. Just let me recall before going to this point. Most of the youngsters may not know, but the people who are in 50s and 60s, 70s, I am sure that they know it, that in early days, when we were youth and children, when we were in young age, every single house or every other house, हर घर या हर दूसरा घर, एक को छोड़ के other house, there you would listen to the voices of Allah and zikr and remembrance of Allah in the last moments of night. there was no house, in every other house, one or two persons at least, Dada or Dadi, grandfather, grandmother, would get up for tahajjud and they would place their musalla for Allah's zikr and ibadah. हर घर में पिछली रात अल्लाह का जिक्र होता था, यार दूसरे घर में तो बच्चे देखते थे, बच्चे I will quote you one event of my own life. I was so young, maybe I was 3 years old, maybe 4 years or less, something between 3 or 4. ये वो एज होती है when you don't understand many phenomenon of many things. When my father used to cry at the Tahajjud time, in Almighty Allah's love, in Allah's zikr and Tahajjud, and many a time, I would get up. उठ के मैं अपनी अम्मी जान से, I would ask my mother, why Abuji is crying? What happened to him? As a child, not understanding the reality, I would ask, I think maybe something wrong has happened to him. So I would ask my wife, what has happened to my father? Why is he crying? तो मुझे प्यार करके सुला देते थे, nothing happened. ये 2, 3, 4 years, मेरी मेमोरीज में कुछ चीज़ें 2 years की एज की भी हैं, बहुत थोड़ी, not many, बहुत थोड़ी, ऐसे कोई इवेंट स्पार्क्स, maybe 3 years की बात होगी, 4 years की बात. अब ये चीज़ I can imagine हर घर में होती होगी. मैंने तो आपको पर्सनल एक एक्सपीरियंस बताया. मैंने हर उस घर में जहाँ तहज्जुद में ग्रैंडफादर और ग्रैंडमदर इज क्राइंग इन अल्लाह's love, डूइंग जिक्र, तो कोई ना कोई बच्चा अगर आँख खुल गई तो he might have asked her mother, what has happened to my grandpa? What has happened to my grandma? तो इस तरह को रिलेट करते थे. तो बचपन से वो देखते थे what is crying in the love of Allah, what is getting up in the after moments of the last moments of life and tahajjud, what is the zikr. इस तरह there was modesty, there was purity, there was piety, there was righteousness, there was truthfulness, there was loyalty to each other, there was honesty. So the children would see all these values with their own eyes being practiced in their parents' life. So Deen was in practice. I'm still saying not 100% standard Islamic life, but still these values existed in our childhood age. Cutting short, it means houses at that time used to be places of tarbiyah. Children were connected with their parents, they would sit with their parents. They would try to learn from them. Same was the role of the whole neighborhood. Streets, mohalla, the neighborhood, vicinity. And the same was the role in the mosque. And that time has gone. Now we are in this present time. I'm coming back to this story again. Now the role of houses have changed. There is no neighborhood now. There is no atmosphere, there is no air in the streets which would protect your haya in your life. Now you can't see purity, piety and modesty with your eyes, just in the streets, in lives of people. You see people dodging one another, telling lying, behaving dishonestly, or if not doing these bad things, at least you see people disconnected from one another, isolated. Everyone is totally disconnected from other, and he is just bound, living within his own self, cave of his own self. Cave. So that's why I say that houses have become just residences, hostels, rihaish-gah, and they have ceased to remain as tarbiyat-gah. Now, again coming to that question, then where our children are getting tarbiyah from? From three places. Answer is from three places. I would say from three S. Three S. School. You speak with me. From school, from society, and from social media. These are three S. ये तीन तरबियत का है। अब बच्चों की दीनी, फिक्री, इल्मी, ज़हनी, religious, spiritual, moral, ethical, intellectual, conceptual जो upbringing है, वो इन तीन सोर्सेस से हो रही है। पूरा concept of life, the whole concept of life, they are getting from three places: schools, society, and social media. So these three sources have become the fountains of halaka, तबाही के मराकज़ बनते हैं। Children are getting concepts of their life from these sources. But we never bother about that. We think अभी बच्चे हैं, they are just children. They will learn. जब वो grow हो जाएंगे, ठीक हो जाएगा। एक जगह मैंने किसी और मुल्क में ये नहीं बात, एक और इसी हवाले से मतलब बात की, और कई मशाइख, उलमा, पीराने कराम बैठे थे दाएं बाएं। तो मैंने कहा कि जो टाइम है बच्चे की तरबियत का, वो तो गुजर गया। और लेट मी एक्सप्लेन, वो तरबियत शुरू कब से होती है? अब तो तीन जगहों से दे आर गेटिंग: स्कूल, सोसाइटी है, सोशल मीडिया। मगर बच्चे की एक्चुअल तरबियत, व्हेन डज इट स्टार्ट? वी हैव नो आइडिया ऑफ दैट। वो माँ के पेट से शुरू हो जाती है, बिफोर बर्थ। Most of our parents, they have no understanding of these scientific realities. जब माँ के पेट में बच्चा 6th month में जाता है, पैदाइश से भी 3 महीने, 3 months before the birth, when he enters into 6th month, तो उसका ब्रेन, उसमें न्यूरल कनेक्शंस बनना टूटना शुरू हो जाते हैं। ये साइंस ऑफ न्यूरोलॉजी में जो ब्रेन की डेवलपमेंट का सब्जेक्ट है, उसमें अगर आप स्टडी करें, बुक्स तो चलो गहरी बात है, आप जस्ट जो रेगुलर आपके जो सोर्सेज हैं, आप कंप्यूटर पे जाएं, चाइल्ड की ब्रेन डेवलपमेंट, न्यूरल कनेक्शंस को डाल दें, तो आपको रिसर्च आर्टिकल्स आ जाएंगे। फिर आर्टिकल्स में आगे चले जाए तो फिर पूरी रिसर्च की दुनिया, बुक्स और बहुत मिल जाए कि न्यूरल कनेक्शंस इस एज में माँ के पेट में दे स्टार्ट इन द ब्रेन ऑफ ए चाइल्ड। जब वो चाइल्ड ही नहीं बना, अभी एम्ब्रियोनिक डेवलपमेंट हो रही है, चाइल्ड बन रहा है in the womb of his mother, और उस वक्त अगर आप उसको कोई खूबसूरत माँ जब पेट में है बच्चा, जिस कुरानिक रेसिटेशन कारी अब्दुल बासित की बड़ी ब्यूटीफुल रेसिटेशन हर रोज सुनाए, खूबसूरत नात, नशीद रेसिटेशन, जस्ट माँ हर रोज सुनाए उस बच्चे को, प्रैक्टिस कर ले, 3 महीने जारी रखे, 4 महीने बिफोर बर्थ। जब वो पैदा हो जाता है, आफ्टर ही इज बॉर्न, 3, 4, 5, 6 महीने का हो जाए और वो रोए और चुप न कर रहा हो, वो कारी अब्दुल बासित की या कोई और खूबसूरत रेसिटेशन जो you used to play upon him when he was in your womb, पेट में था, वो चलाएं, वो रोता हुआ चुप कर जाता, मुर्शीद गुनात सुनाए, 3, 4, 5 महीने का बच्चा वो सुनाए, थोड़ी देर में वो चुप कर जाएगा, उसको पेट की स्टोरी याद आ जाए, यानी he becomes so mahnus and attached, passionately attached. ये उसके neural connect, this thing becomes a part of his neural connection. He is neurally connected with this voice. जब फिर सुनते हैं तो he gets reconnected. Just try it. इसलिए इस एज में अगर माँ का मूड खराब रहे, गुस्से में रहे, माँ बाप आपस में लड़ते रहे, मियाँ बीवी झगड़ा करें, शोर शराबा करें, डायरेक्ट उस बच्चे पर एवरी सिंगल मोमेंट इफेक्ट्स उस बच्चे के मूड और उसकी तबीयत को खराब करती है। वो बच्चा पैदा होगा उसके इसी तरह की तबीयत होगी जैसे माँ बाप करते, माँ करती थी। अगर माँ खुशगवार रहे, हंसती रहे, मुस्कुराती रहे और वो बड़ी काम है, क्वाइट है, always she is happy, she is pleased, and Mia and Bibi, husband and wife, are not angry at each other, they are not arguing, they are not quarreling, they are spending time in a very pleasant mood. जब बच्चा पैदा होगा वो प्रेजेंट मूड के साथ है। उन माओ से पूछें जिनके बच्चे पैदा होने वाले होते हैं, एक और बात सीक्रेट बता दूं, जब आप when you do these kind of unpleasant things, शोर मचाते हैं, झगड़ा करते हैं, कई बार बच्चे पेट में किक मारते हैं, तंग करते हैं, वो आपको माँ को बताते हैं कि आई एम नॉट प्लीज्ड विद योर एक्टिंग। उस बच्चे की मूवमेंट इट एक्सप्रेसेस व्हाट इज हैपनिंग एंड हाउ इज ही रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू योर एक्शंस। ये एक अलग सब्जेक्ट है। इफ आई एंटर इनटू दिस सब्जेक्ट देन ए न्यू यूनिवर्स विल ओपन। तो मैंने सिर्फ पॉइंट्स दिया ताकि आप इन चीज़ों को रिकनेक्ट करें और इन चीज़ों को अंडरस्टैंड करें। तो तरबियत का तो वो टाइम था, वो भी हम वी डोंट टेक केयर ऑफ दैट। बच्चे पैदा हो जाते हैं तो उस वक्त यू सी समटाइम ए स्मॉल चाइल्ड ऑफ 2-3 months, कभी वो स्माइल करता है, कई बातों पे हंसता ही नहीं हंसता। 2-3 months का बच्चा हंसता है या नहीं, और रोता भी है। Why does he laugh? Why does he cry? एक तो है ना भूख लगी है या तकलीफ है तो इस crying, ये अलग है। मगर जो रोता है, हंसता है किसी को देखकर सुनकर, तो जस्ट ये मस्कुलर मूवमेंट है, मसल्स की मूवमेंट है, वो अपने अंदर का प्लेयर ही इज एक्सप्रेसिंग थ्रू हिज स्माइल। सुभान अल्लाह। ही इज फाइंडिंग समथिंग प्लेजेंट एंड ही इज एंजॉयिंग सिंस ही कांट एक्सप्रेस थ्रू वर्ड्स, सो ही इज एक्सप्रेसिंग दैट फीलिंग थ्रू हिज स्माइल। बट वी डोंट अंडरस्टैंड ऑल दीज फिनोमेना, हमें समझ नहीं। बच्चे की फीलिंग्स हैं, ऑल दीज फीलिंग्स उसकी परवरिश कर रही है, दीज फीलिंग्स उसको डेवलप कर रही है, उसका मूड, उसकी तबीयत, उसका मिजाज, उसकी पर्सनैलिटी, ये कंपोज हो रही है, कंस्ट्रक्ट हो रही है, डेवलप हो रही है, नरिशमेंट हो रही है। तो इंटरनल एनवायरनमेंट एंड एक्सटर्नल एनवायरनमेंट, सारा जो कुछ फील होता है वो उसके ऊपर प्रिंट हो रहा है, उसके स्लेट पर। इसमें चलते चलते वो 12 साल का 13 साल हो जाता है, टीन एजेस में आ जाता है। उस वक्त वी गो टू द पीर्स एंड वी गो टू मशाइख एंड वी गो टू उलमा and we go to the elder and the people and say कि हमारी नहीं सुनता, doesn't listen, he doesn't listen to us. He has become disobedient. He doesn't listen to us. He doesn't like to sit with us. He always sits, he is closed in his room. We don't know what he does in his room. But he never likes to sit in our company. He doesn't speak with us. Then we start complaining all these things. Do we not? Do we complain or not? Yes. The point which I want to explain here is that he has not started these things now. No. He has just started expressing his feelings which he was not able to express before. But everything had already been printed on the slate of his mind and heart. जो कुछ print हो गया था, whatever was developed in his personality, जो कुछ nourish हो गया था, establish हो गया था, और आपने from his before birth period से लेकर up to 12-13 years तक, whatever you gave him, whatever you provided him, whatever feelings through your own actions and behaviors and everyday routine, whatever feelings you created, incorporated and injected in his personality, now this is time, he is just responding and expressing. अब वो चीजें अपीयर हो रही हैं, एग्जिस्ट पहले करती थी। तो फिर मशाइख, कुछ पीर साहिबान, उलमा बैठे थे, किसी मौके पर I said these words. मैंने कहा at that time you come to Peer Sahiban and Ulama Sahiban, Mashayikh and ask for तावीज़. कि बच्चा सुनता नहीं तो हम तावीज़ दें, वजीफा दें, तावीज़ दें. तो मैंने कहा उनको उस तावीज़ से उन मशाइख पीरों को तो फिर भी कुछ न कुछ मिल जाता है. तावीज़ देंगे तो कुछ मिल ही जाएगा. Want you give them something? नहीं देंगे. जब तावीज़ लेंगे तो कुछ तो दे ही आएंगे. उनको तावीज़ जिनसे लेंगे उन्हें कुछ मिल जाएगा, मगर आपको you will never get anything. आपको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. उस वक्त आपको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. You have lost your time. The time is gone. तावीज़ वो नहीं जो आप लिखवाने आए हैं on the piece of paper. तावीज़ वो था जो आपने अपने बिहेवियर से उस बच्चे की तरबियत करनी थी. वो तावीज़ उसकी एक्चुअल अपब्रिंगिंग वाज द तावीज़. This taweez was being written on the piece of the paper of his mind. His mind was a piece of paper. His personality, uska mood, uska brain, uska neural connections, all these things were developing. This was the real time of taweez. Or taweez was tarbiyah. Providing him nice, pleasant, positive, pious, good atmosphere which would influence his brain. And brain connection, neural connection. That was the real taweez. अब इस एज में 13 साल 12 साल के बाद जब होता है, you can't revert them. वापस नहीं कर सकते. Would be very rare. बड़ी एफर्ट करनी पड़ती है. उसके बाद बड़ी एफर्ट. फिर इस एज में there are some things which are added to the other aspect. फिर एडिशन होता है. वो जो 3 चीजें मैंने कही. फिर घर से तो बिना कुछ नहीं. You couldn't get any proper influence. अब उसमें whatever he received from school, from his syllabus, from his teachings, from his teachers, from his peers, class fellows, friends, whatever. He received everything from the school. Then, remaining all other things he received from the society. और जो बच गया था जनाजा, funeral, निकल गया through social media. अब social media तक तो funeral हो गया है. अब उसके बाद you want to make again alive, फिर जिंदा करना चाहते हैं. It's very difficult. अब मुझे कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है कि मैं स्कूल पर और सोसाइटी पर और सोशल मीडिया पे गुफ्तगू करूँ. You know every single person among you know better than me. इन 3 चीजों से उसकी तरबियत हुई. अब जब स्कूल से he gets something from school, he is reinforced all these values right or wrong. Whatever he has received from the school, all these things are reinforced by the society. So whatever is he receiving, or whatever is being reinforced through the society, is again being reinforced by the social media. तो वो surrounded है तमाम fountains of misguidance के साथ. उसका एक माइंड सेट बन गया है He doesn't want to sit with parents. ये सारा इफेक्ट है, तीन चीजें जो whatever I have mentioned, ये उनका एक लॉजिकल इम्पैक्ट है, रिजल्ट है. Nothing is special wrong with him. एक नेचुरल प्रोसेस है, एक नेचुरल फिनोमिनन का, it is outcoming of a natural phenomenon. Coming to solution. इसका solution क्या है? Solution. Parents are too busy. Father is busy in earning. Mother sometimes also is busy in job, or she has to look after many other family life, matters of family life. They were too busy, that's why they couldn't look after his child. They looked after his physical needs, but they couldn't look after his intellectual, his spiritual, his moral, and his ethical needs. They were totally neglected. अब सोल्यूशन बहुत से हैं, चूँकि थोड़ा सा टाइम मैंने इस पर लगा रहा हूँ, तो मैं ऐसे क्रक्स आई वांट टू गिव जस्ट फ्यू पॉइंट्स. सबसे पहला सोल्यूशन मॉस्क, मस्जिद. घर से तो उसको मिला नहीं है. Number 2 is connection with some religious company. Connection to some religious, any jama'ah, any circle, any group, any community of pious people, of righteous people. I'm not talking about a single person. I'm talking of a company. 3 solutions. Mosque. Number 2, connection, getting connected with some jama'ah. Jama'ah means a community, a group of good people, a company of righteous people, so that he may receive a collective defense, and he may defend himself and herself from all attacks, intellectual attacks, spiritual attacks, attacks coming from mind, through the mind, attacks coming from through the sentiments and emotions and passions of heart, attacks coming from the social aspects of his life, coming from social surroundings, coming from his friendships, coming from his thinking, coming from his nafs, self, coming from his heart, coming from through his eyes, coming through his mind, coming through his friendships, connections and companies, coming through social media. There are hundreds of sources. So, single person is not in a position to defend himself or to protect his faith in a situation where multifarious attacks are being upon him, where he is under attack from every side. Intellectual attacks, social attacks, practical attacks, psychological attacks. There are multi-dimensional attacks from every side. And on his own, nobody has provided him arms and ammunition to defend himself, because he couldn't receive that strategy from his parents. The time was gone. So now he need some extra support extra support. That's Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, keep your suhbah salih. Be in the company of the righteous people. Kunu ma'as-sadiqeen. Stay in the company of righteous people. Wasbir nafsaka ma'alladhina yad'una rabbahum. Those people who remember their Lord, Almighty Allah. Stay and live and stick to their company. Those remember Almighty Allah every morning and every evening. So you need a company where you may listen the words of Allah, where you may receive the message of His Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, where you may see some good examples, some perfect conduct, behavior, good nasiha, good advice, good stories of the awliya, sulaha, and the message of Quran and Sunnah. Not the fighting, not the message of hatred, not the message of division, not message of nafra and hatred, message of love, message which unites you, message will provide you pleasure, message who gives you love, message who makes you understand, message which and the company which strengthens the roots of your faith and takes away the reasons of doubts and suspicions and provide you yaqeen, certainty, knowledge. Holy Prophet said, once he asked his companion, do you want me to tell that which kind of company should you adopt? Who are those people whom you should sit with? The companions asked, Ya Rasulullah, yes, you should tell. From just company of those people who possess three qualities. Just sit in the company of those people who have three qualities. Number one, when they speak, they give you knowledge and wisdom. When they speak, they increase you in knowledge. And when you see them, their deeds, their acts, their behavior, their conduct, you feel yourself closer towards hereafter. The love of hereafter is inspired. You get inspired and feel your heart and your inclination towards Akhirah, not towards the world. And the third, when you see them on their faces, you remember Allah. When you see them, you may be remembering Almighty Allah. Just choose this kind of company. At least, if you don't find these people, but find those people who gives you these kind of lessons. Once Imam Jafar as-Sadiq radiyallahu ta'ala said, उन्होंने फरमाया, उनके साथ बैठो जो अल्लाह के साथ बैठते हैं। क्या? उनके साथ बैठो जो अल्लाह के साथ बैठते हैं। और अगर वो न मिले तो फिर उनके साथ बैठो जिनके साथ बैठने से वो याद आते हैं। They remind you those beautiful companies that sit with them. Imam Azam Abu Hanifa would always used to say कि मैं fiqh से, I love hikayat as-salihin, the stories of righteous people. I love them much more than the knowledge of fiqh. Knowledge of fiqh. क्योंकि fiqh, jurisprudence, the knowledge, ये मुझे आपका मतलब क्या, ये अहकाम की खबर देते हैं। फिर क्या देते हैं? Informs you and enrich you with the knowledge or with information of ahkam, the commandments of Almighty Allah, or hikayat as-salihin, the stories of the righteous people, वो आपको ahkam देने वाले की खबर देते हैं। उधर कहीं ये रीजन है, मगर आपने इतना फरमाया कि हिकायात उस-सालिहीन मुझे ज़्यादा महबूब है फिक्र की मजलिस। तो राइचस कंपनी, टू थिंग्स, दोस्तों की कंपनी बच्चों की चेंज करें, और उसका आसान तरीका, nowadays you are not able to find good individual companies everywhere, but इसलिए जमात replaces that thing। ये जो सर्कल, जमात, ग्रुप, जहाँ ये बातें हों, where he listens good positive things, he should go into company of those people। First thing masajid, and second thing masajid. Masjid is Allah's house. There is a responsibility upon the ulama and the executives of the mosque that they should make the mosque a welcoming place for the kids। घर को तरबियत का बनना था, वो नहीं बन सका, वो बन गया। मैं बड़ी इम्पोर्टेंट जुमला बोल रहा हूँ जो चला गया हमारी सोसाइटी से ज़मानों से, 100 साल 200 साल से, जो हमारी सोच से निकल गया। I'm telling you that thing which has disappeared from our mosques। Houses were supposed to be tarbiyat gar, but they ceased to be tarbiyat. They became rihaish gar, the place of residence, boarding places। A masjid is not only ibadat gar, हमारी traditional soch has distorted the concept। We have converted the mosque's role again। We have made mosque only as a worship place। इसको सिर्फ इबादत गाह बना दिया, नहीं, ये रूहानी तरबियत गाह। Restore the role of the mosque so that the mosque are enabled to change the lives of the youth and small kids। मस्जिदों के रोल को बदलें। It is not only इबादत गाह, इसको ऐसा एटमोसफियर, give them such atmosphere कि kids should feel masjid, the mosque, as their comfort zone। They should love to come to the mosque। They should not feel shy। They should not resist when their mother asks, "Oh my kid, come to the mosque." He should not feel a burden। He should be waiting for, when time comes I will go to the mosque। Make the mosque a place of love and attraction for your kids। There is a hearsay, एक कहावत है, टर्किश, probably टर्किश कहावत है, कि जिन मस्जिदों में नमाज हो रही है और पीछे बच्चों के रोने खेलने की आवाजें ना आए, समझे this nation has lost their future। जिस मस्जिद में नमाज हो रही हो और पीछे बच्चों के रोने और खेलने की आवाजें ना आए, that nation has lost their future। They will never find deen in his next generation। Deen was to be protected in younger generation through mosque, and it was possible only if the mosque were a place of attraction for them। अब क्या होता है, अगर बच्चे पीछे रोएं और खेलें तो जो एग्जेक्टिव के जो बड़े बुजुर्ग हैं वो उसके माँ बाप को कहते हैं, किस ना पुत्र है ये बच्ची रोंदी, इन्होंने मस्जिद अदाब का नहीं पता, ले जाओ एक रोन वाली जगह है, अल्लाह का घर है, इतने खेलने ने बच्चे दौड़ रहे हैं, ले जाओ इन्होंने मस्जिद अल्लाह की इबादत नहीं करनी। तगीर के वो बच्चे इतने खौफजदा हो जाते हैं, then they never think of coming to mosque. They think Maulvi Sahib is very angry person. They think the executive president is very angry person. They don't. A child of 2, 3, 4 years, what he will do other than crying and playing? What do you expect from him? 2, 3, 4 साल का बच्चा 5 का अगर आएगा, does he know the adab of mosque? He is not a mukallaf. He is not answering to Almighty Allah on these commandments. He is not responsible for these things. बच्चा है, वो तो इस एज में जस्ट ही प्ले, खेलना ही है, दौड़ना है, उसको खेलने दौड़ने की जगह मिलेगी तो ही हैप्पीली गो देयर, और यहाँ डांट मिलेगी ही विल नेवर कम। खेलने दे, कितने साल खेलेगा? बच्चों के खेलने से मस्जिद की बेअदबी नहीं होती, बड़े खेले तो बेअदबी होती। उनको मौका दे ताकि वो शौक से आए, मामा को कहे आई वांट टू गो टू मॉस्क, आई वांट टू गो टू मॉस्क। मस्जिद में जस्ट मेक ए कॉर्नर ऑन वन साइड एंड डिक्लेयर एक्चुअली दिस इज नॉट पार्ट ऑफ द मॉस्क बट अपैरेंटली विद इन द वॉल्स ऑफ द मॉस्क। उसको बॉल रख दें, उसके छोटे छोटे बच्चों के फुटबॉल रख दें, उसके टॉयज रख दें, प्लेइंग एरिया बना दें, उतना खूबसूरत बनाए, मेक इट अट्रैक्टिव कि बच्चे मुंतज़िर हो, जो घर में नहीं मिलता वो वहां मिलता है। उसको क्रिएट लव ऑफ मॉस्क इन हिज हार्ट so that he may think this is place of attraction and enjoyment. He will start coming for playing, then after a couple of years he will start coming for praying. He will start coming from playing and then he will convert this relation into praying. This is the psychology of the Don't you know that hadith of Holy Prophet? He said, I wanted to recite Holy Quran and stand for a long time in the mosque. But all of a sudden I heard a child crying behind. I thought about the feelings of his mother standing behind me praying in Jamaat. What would be the feeling of that lady where his child is crying? So फरमाया कि मैंने अपनी नमाज मुख्तसर कर दी. I finished quickly so that his mother is not upset and that child doesn't continue crying. So Holy Prophet discontinued his prayer, very long recitation, just for the sake of feeling of the mother and for the sake of the crying of that child. तो फिर वो मस्जिद में था तो रो रहा था ना बच्चा, मस्जिद में था तभी रो रहा था। उसका मतलब है बच्चे हुजूर के जमाने में मस्जिद में रोते थे, तो रो सकते हैं तो उस उम्र के बच्चे खेल नहीं सकते। मैटर ऑफ थिंकिंग। तो मस्जिद को उनकी प्लेस ऑफ अट्रैक्शन बनाए। They should come here. They should love to come here. और उनको give them a very welcoming atmosphere. और सबसे बढ़कर मस्जिद एग्जीक्यूटिव, एल्डर्स, उलमा, टीचर्स, they should receive them with smiling face. Smile matters a lot. Don't give them angry face. Don't show them angry face or serious face. Serious and angry face is not the face of prophetic sunnah. Soft face, smiling face, welcoming face, freshening face is the face which you receive from Holy Prophet. मुस्कुराता बच्चे उसकी तरफ जाते हैं। आप हर जगह रेस्टोरेंट, कॉफी प्लेसेस पे किसी के बच्चे नहीं देखते। आप कोई बच्चा हो आप उसको मुस्कुराएं वो आपकी तरफ आने लगता नहीं। मेरे साथ हमेशा होता है, हर वक्त किसी के बच्चे मेरे पास आने लगते हैं। मैं उसको मुस्कुरा के उसको प्यार देता हूँ, बात पूछता हूँ, उसका नाम पूछता हूँ, इंटरेस्ट लेता हूँ, तो बच्चा रिस्पॉन्ड करता है। तो यहाँ बच्चा रिस्पॉन्ड करे थ्रू योर बिहेवियर। तो बस ये मैं इस पर कल को मेरे जहन में और भी था, फिर वो टाइम और ज़्यादा लग जाएगा। द थर्ड थिंग इज, वो अभी सब टाइम नहीं है। आई वांटेड टू से दैट बच्चों को एटलीस्ट बाइलिंगुअल बनाएं, if not trilingual. This is the third point, mandatory. English is a language of communication. Ja? Is not a language of continuation. ये communication के लिए ये language है. Continuation of our and children's legacy, continuation of their culture, and continuation of their connection with their faith and background is Urdu. Or Turkish, if they are people, kids are from Turkish family, or Persian, or Arabic, or any other language where what is their ethnic background depends upon that. The parents' ethnic background, that original language is language of continuation. English, Swedish, Danish, French, Italian, Norwegian, all these languages are languages of communication. हमने उनको पंजाबी सिखाई है, मीरपुरी सिखाई है, पश्तो सिखाई है। अपनी अपनी इलाकों की जुबान बच्चों को माएँ बचपन से सिखाती है, उर्दू किसी ने नहीं सिखाई। Make them at least bilingual, if not trilingual. Trilingual, I mean Arabic. ये फर्ज है, फर्ज। फर्ज से मुराद वो शरीफी की फर्ज नहीं है, हिफाजत दीन का फर्ज है। लैंग्वेज itself is not दीन, समझे? लैंग्वेज itself is not दीन। Neither the culture itself is the deen, but they are tools, they are bridges through which you get access to the rich knowledge of deen, richness of deen, through which you remain connected with your legacy, with your roots. And every language has its own manners and adab. When you lost your ethnic own Urdu language or Arabic language or other language, you not only are confined to language, you are confined to very limited adab which that language possesses. You are you in English. A small child is you. Father is you. Mother is you to address when you address. A Mu'min is you. A kafir is you. If you speak to dog, what do you say? What do you say if you want to say? Huh? You. Dog is also you. A bird is also, everybody is you. Urdu में ये नहीं है। ये this is known as एक ये linguistic science का subject है। Every language has its own manners. जब उर्दू में बात करते हैं तो छोटा उसमें कोई तू है, कोई तुम है, बड़े सब आप। इंग्लिश में आप कहाँ है? इंग्लिश में आप कहाँ है? Where you lost your manners. अदब भी चलेगा। क्या? अदब भी चलेगा। लैंग्वेजेस के अपने अंदर आदाब होते हैं, मैनर्स होते हैं, एक उसका कल्चर होता है। जो लैंग्वेजेस कैरी करती हैं रिचनेस, कंटेंट ऑफ दीन एंड स्पिरिचुअल मटेरियल, कैरी करती है द मोर, उन लैंग्वेजेस के अंदर कंटिन्यू करते हैं मुख्तलिफ स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑफ आदाब, मैनर्स। इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज कोई दीन और रूहानियत तो कैरी ना, यूरोपियन वेस्टर्न लैंग्वेज, ये लैंग्वेजेस हैं, उनको मैटर नहीं करता, डजंट मैटर। ये सिर्फ लैंग्वेज का मैटर नहीं है, कंटेंट का, एक्सेस का और ब्रिज का मैटर है। अगर ब्रिज टूट जाए तो आप क्रॉस नहीं कर सकते। अब let me explain one factor. In Arabic, the knowledge and information of Islam, you will get 100% because Deen of Islam was revealed in Arabic language. Arab bachon ko, if you see the Arab families, do the parents speak Arabic with their children or not? Arab. Do they speak Arabic with their children or not? Do you see the Turkish people? Do they speak Turkish with their children or not? See the Persian. Do they speak Persian with their children or not? This struggle has occurred in our life because we were ruled for 200 to 300 years by British. We were their colonies. We were under their colonial rule. We were slaves. So we received that mentality and a complex. They were not ruled by them. Were Turkish people ruled by them?
No.
Were Persian ruled by them? Were Arabs ruled by them? So they had a continuity, except our subcontinent. Since we were ruled, so we are living up till today. We came here and the same mentality. We lost our identity. And we took the superiority of the language and color and this and that. In Arabic, if you mind, I'm talking, the language is just a bridge, a means of access to certain knowledge. In Arabic, the whole knowledge regarding deen is available 100%. It's fine. Then in Turkish language and Persian language, I'll give you the data, facts and figures. Turkish and Persian, 25% to 35%. The whole knowledge of Islam, which is available 100% in Arabic, has been transformed and transferred and translated and written and created in Turkish and Persian, two languages, and the total amount is 25% to 35%. So a quite big amount is available here. You would be shocked to know, same is the position of Urdu language. Three languages stand at the same position: Turkish, Persian and Urdu. Urdu also possesses 25 to 30%, 35% of the whole content of Islamic knowledge. And particularly in the last 200 years, much literature has been produced in Urdu language. Last 200 years. So after Arabic, Turkish, Persian and Urdu possess the same position. Same position. So if you belong to these three countries, living Urdu in Pakistan or India apart, if you are an Arab, so you have an access. Through your language, you have an access to full content of Islamic knowledge. If you belong to Persian country, Iran, you have an access to the content of the Islamic knowledge up to 25 to 30 to 35%. If you are Turkish, you have access to that content up to 25, 30 or 35%. In the same way, having Pakistani or Indian or Pakistani ethnic background, you also had a chance to have access up to 35% of Islamic knowledge. But we have lost. They haven't, but we have. We have lost. So this was the content. Now coming to English. First I tell you that all other European, French and Spain and German, these three languages have 3 to 4% total content of Islamic knowledge. Spain and French, because their scholars and writers and authors started translating the Islamic literature into their languages, and Orientalism started from these countries. So they had worked for the last 300 years. That's why they had 3 to 4% of the knowledge, content. Remaining all European countries, Sweden, Denmark, Norway, all these, they have 1% of the content. Some less than 1%, some 1%, some 1.5%, some up to between 1% to 2%. Total content of Islamic knowledge. They have this much access. And English has 12 to 18% access. Total knowledge, total content available on Islam as compared to Arabic and Islamic is 12% to 18%. You don't have 85% content of Islamic knowledge is absolutely not available in English language. You have more than European languages, but this is the maximum what you have. The actual content I don't mean the speeches are uploaded in English. The so-called self-made speakers and scholars, everybody is a scholar sitting in his home. He uploads a speech, and English speech is available on YouTube. And children, the kids, the boys, they don't know what is right and what is wrong. Rubbish things are uploaded. Anybody can upload anything what he wants to say. And he can spend money, he has a skill, and he can spread and make it viral. And we think so much material is available in English. What does material mean? We have to define the material and content. So whatever is available on internet in English is not knowledge. Many things are rubbish. Many things are good, many things are bad, many things are creating doubts and suspicions, many things are taking away the real faith through their language. Because there are no limitations, there is no process of filtering, no process of verification, no process of differentiation between right and wrong. This is the open world. Anybody can upload anything in his language. So, if the lectures and content and the things are available, written or spoken in English language, it does not mean that this is the content of Islamic knowledge. No. And these things will benefit only if the kids and the girls and the boys and children are able themselves to differentiate between right and wrong. They have no knowledge, they have no knowledge. They don't have basic classical knowledge. They don't have basic knowledge of tafsir, knowledge of hadith, knowledge of usul, knowledge of science of hadith, knowledge of science of tafsir, knowledge of science of fiqh, knowledge of aqidah, ilmul kalam. They have nothing of these kind of basics. So without having all these basics, without having all foundational knowledge, which enables you to differentiate between right and wrong. When you listen throughout the whole day, this lecture, this lecture, this lecture, you don't know what he is saying about. He is guiding you or misguiding you. He is creating suspicions and doubts. Since there is a connection of language between the listener and the speaker, you are being influenced. This is tawahi and munaqat. So firstly, trilingual. You should try to learn Arabic and classical knowledge Arabic as much as possible. And the most important thing is learn speaking, writing, understanding Urdu. Make it fun, mandatory, because Urdu is closer to Arabic. 50% of the words in Urdu have been taken from Arabic roots or Persian or Turkish roots in Arabic. It makes you closer to Arabic. Then it opens a door of at least 35% of the Islamic content. So you get an access. That's why Almighty Allah said, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِن رَسُولٍ إِلَّا بِلِسَانِ قَوْمِهِ. The language of ethnic language. Every prophet and Rasul was raised with the ethnic language. Language of their nation. So that they will truly understand the message and the real essence of Allah's revelation. And whatever knowledge is available, other things that is just very basic. I know some things are translated, tafseers and some books of hadith, some books of seerah, some books of fadail, some things are translated, and whatever is written, you know, every writer writes book to sell it. And every publisher publishes the book if he gets money. Where a writer, author wants money from the publisher. Publisher has to spend the money. Where does they get money from? There are groups, people, companies, firms, institutions. You can understand what I am talking about. Those who spend the money and provide the funds, they are in a better position to publish the things. That's why most of the literature which is uploaded or which is available is one way or the other has been influenced by certain groups, people or certain classes who are easy to spend money or to provide funds. Those who can easily provide funds. That's why the mainstream knowledge of Ahlul Sunnah is least minimum available in English language. When we talk of Aqidah and basics of fiqh in these special terms. Otherwise, normal knowledge, certain things, history, seerah, these things are available on modern topic subjects which are under discussion today. I don't want to mention those topics. Things upon those subjects are available, but these are the topics which create confusions and problems in your mind. Whenever the matter of Aqidah comes, and you are confronted with wrong decision, the children are confused. They have no answer because they never thought of creating a foundation, a strong foundation. Strong foundation was able either through Arabic or Urdu. English is language of communication. So you need something before communication. You need a better sound foundation so that you may understand something or communicate something in a right way. Or if you are listening or reading, you are able to differentiate between the two. I remember my personal life when I was young, in my youth age. I was child. I used to read many, many books written by anyone. By Muslims, by Christians, by these people, by those people. In my very young age, I was fond of reading books. My father, rahimahullah ta'ala, used to visit, every week he used to visit my personal library in my bedroom. And he used to check the books. Whenever he found any book which he didn't want me to read at this age, he would take it out. Always, every week, he had his practice, and he would always tell me that, beta, this is not the age to read these books. A time will come when you will be able to read anything you want. But that would be the time when you would have the capacity of differentiating between haqq and batil, right and wrong, good and bad. Who is giving wrong evidence, who is giving right evidence, who is expressing and explaining a thing in a wrong way, giving wrong logic, who is giving right logic. When you are personally in a position having this foundation and strong knowledge, that you are able to differentiate whatever is being read or whatever is being listened, if this is right or wrong, only that time you are free to read, you will be free to read and go. This is the time to protect you and to create your foundation, to strengthen your foundation. So this is the basic principle, which has disappeared. Now, all our children, every single person just opens the cell phone, opens computer, goes to the chats and the groups and to the WhatsApp and Googles and all these platforms are available. Hundreds of platforms are available. Even private group platforms are available, where there is no disclosure, there is no embarrassment. You can all the things are going, and now echo kind of whatever you want to listen, that knowledge is also available. There are groups which give you knowledge whatever you want to listen. So you can never understand what is right and what is wrong. This is world of technology. Everything is under trick. And we are receiving the basics of deen, the concepts of Tawheed and Risala and the prophethood and everything about faith and deen from this social media. So you can't stop social media, at least you can fix a limit of the screen, daily limit. But try to, first of all, enforce Urdu language in your life. The parents should stop speaking to their children in English or in their personal Mirpur or Punjabi or their languages. They should always speak Urdu with their languages. We speak Urdu with our own children. You listen the speeches of Ahmad Bhai in Urdu also. Why? Because always we spoke Urdu with him. Now Shaykh Ahmad is there in Lahore reading Urdu under the teachers. We speak as a matter of policy in Urdu with Shaykh Ahmad. A child who is born in England or America or Canada, English is his own language. English is not running away from him. This is his language. The thing which is running away is the ethnic background, Urdu or Arabic. So you have to focus on it. The boys or the elders or my sons of your age, the mature age, since your parents were strong, so there were many factors which were able to protect your faith. But what will happen when your children and their children will come? I'm talking of 2 generations after. If we focus only on the language of communication and we don't think about the language of continuation, what will happen when time of your children comes and they become parents? They won't be able to speak a single word of Urdu with their children. And then their children, just it is a matter of 2 generations. Access will be this much to them. They will know very basic. And they will know we are Muslim, we have Muslim name, this is our Muslim. They will never have their identity. They will feel shy. And whatever happened to other people of religions, Almighty, I pray Almighty God will protect us from this. So the last message is that every child should be trilingual or at least bilingual. You are English speaking, But the thing which is not present with you is Urdu. From today, in the home, in the house, everybody will start practicing Urdu. Say Urdu. 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 And Arabic. As much as possible. Because that is the source of our Islamic faith.
The AI challenge. AI challenge. AI.
That is also part of the same work. That will create many troubles in future. But that's a very good thing. But you need the skill how to use it. If the boys and girls and the children are not skillful, then AI can misguide you. And if you are skillful and knowledgeable, then AI will not be able to misguide you or dodge you, then you can control it. These are either AI will control or you will control. These are two different theories going on. This is a fight for future. Technology depends upon how do you use it. Wassalamu alaikum.